Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for attending this session. I know this is one of the last session you will be attending before you're heading to the big bash party in the evening. So hopefully we'll make it interesting and you will enjoy it. As always, you enjoy the American Airlines ride. So just to introduce ourselves, I'm Yash Joshi. I manage the enterprise data platform for data engineering analytics. And I have with me Saimahesh Chava. He's a senior principal architect. And both of us manage the data engineering analytics platform. So just to give you a little bit of American Airlines overview, you must have attended a lot of sessions where when a company comes, they have to give the overview of the company. So just most of you know about American Airlines, but one of the thing I want to talk about is definitely about our vision statement. So we care for people on life journey. So whenever you step in that plane, it's our duty and honor to serve you with the best experience. Just to give a little bit stats on the American Airlines, we've last year we flew almost 2.1 million flights. In 2024, we flew to almost 350 global destinations, and we have around 10 major hubs in US and across the Atlantic, and but DFW is the most biggest our hub. And last year, I think we flew almost 226 million passengers. So that's why we can call ourselves one of the largest airlines in the world. We always compete with other airlines, but we are one of the largest for sure. So talking about something why you are here. So this is the whole session is about our Unity migration from Hive Metastore. So imagine that you have a flight plan, right? Like you are ready to come to this conference and you were ready to, on the day of travel, you're ready to go. But there is something called flight plan when you go to the gates, right? Like, so in that flight plan, that everything, weather has to be good to make it happen. The crew has to be on time. They are ready to go. The safety, all the checks of the airplane, the maintenance has been completed, and it should be leaving on time and reaching on time. And navigation, which is basically our flight plans and our definitely about how we will take you to the destination. Everything needs to be work seamlessly. Just think about that when you think about on this experience, right? There are hundreds of team members are working behind the scene for that flight. There are definitely multiple product teams which are taking care of different products which are aligning with this. Like you have done your booking, right? So definitely you are interested to utilize your miles. You have done your seats allocation. You have asked for an upgrade, maybe a meal service, and definitely there is something like where if there is some issue with your customer, means let's say on a day of the travel, you want to reach out to the customer service. All this needs to be well managed through a data governance framework. And for that, definitely, I will say if the experience is not good, like if you go there and you couldn't get your upgrades or meal service, or the kiosk check-in was not good, or the like something like a day of departure, like the flight is delayed, right? You want to reach out to the customer service, and then the experience is not good. Everything needs to be in sync to make it happen seamlessly, and that's where the data behind it makes a lot of sense. And to manage that data, we utilize the definitely we looked at Unity Catalog, and today we'll look at how Unity Catalog is helping us in that our migration journey. We just talked about different things, challenging things that may happen on the D, but when you take off, definitely there maybe sometimes you hit with a weather turbulence. And for the reference of this slide, I will call it as a or data turbulence, right? So then I will talk about, like I'm talking about, what are different data turbulence or challenges we have faced during our journey. So first thing is that it's a data is in a fragmented state, right? Like we in the earlier days, we used to have multiple product teams managing. Means even there were standards in place. They were used to modify that standards to circumvent something, and definitely it was causing us a chaos. So managing that data state was becoming a little bit challenging. The second challenge was definitely we were on when we moved to Azure and Databricks, we were using our Hive Metastore. And Hive Metastore is kind of a legacy Metastore. Some of you might be using it, and it's challenging because it doesn't have that security, and everything cannot be managed through this Hive seamlessly. So definitely that Hive Metastore was a challenging part for us over the last couple of years. And the last thing is about the manual security and auditability, right? The Hive Metastores has a lot of, I will say, um, uh, there is not automation in place, right? Like you have to do things manually to manage the roles, to manage the access of the users. There is a lot more channeling happening on the Hive Metastore. So definitely there were a lot more. These are some of the turbulence. I'm calling it as a data turbulence we were facing, and that definitely was hampering us our progress. So we were looking for that something how we can get help from, and that's where I think Unity Catalog last year they announced Unity Catalog in a major conference over here, and they made a lot of improvements in the Unity Catalog. So some of the things we saw which can benefit us to move away from the Hive Metastore. But definitely, we used to manage our data from like using the DBFS. So that was a lot more challenging because the users were able to get access to that DBFS directly. So with going to that something in the Unity, you have something called volumes. When you started using volumes, it was more manageable and it was controlled. The second thing was the browse permissions, right? So now when we move to Unity, we have that a catalog where we have more insights, more discoverability of the data. So people or the teams can now look, or users even can look at that metadata more cleanly. In the Hive Metastore, that was not something possible. And then system tables observability, right? Now, with Unity came the system tables. Some of you guys must have been using it, but system tables is something where we are now able to get more insights on our metadata lineage, who is using what, when some job ran and everything. So definitely system table observability is what we like, and we are using it a lot. And the last thing was the unified access, which is through the Unity catalog. So that gave us a lot more control and governance, and that helps us to make our the data governance unified much in a better fashion. So just to tell you more on our this thing journey, I'm going to hand it over to Sai to take it from takeoff to landing. Sai,
sure. Thank you, Yash. When I was a kid, my mom asked me what I wanted to do when I grew up. I told my mom I will do Unity catalog migration at some point. Today I'm here to share our Unity catalog migration journey. So our migration to Unity catalog was a dynamic journey that spanned across 11 months. Think of it like a well-planned flight towards a more standardized and governed data landscape. The first, each leg represented like a critical leg of the journey, uh, guiding us towards our destination, which is a unified and resilient data ecosystem. To start off with, the first phase is a takeoff phase. During this phase, it's like setting the course. We took some key decisions to spin up brand new workspaces and also to adopt DB SQL as a SQL consumption engine within the enterprise. The reason for provisioning the new workspaces is we have been using Databricks for more than 5 years, and we took this as an opportunity to discard some of the jobs which our business is not using in the legacy Hive workspaces, followed by governance and structure. As a part of this phase, we migrated everything from Hive Metastore to Delta Lake, and we also adopted Unity as a centralized governance layer for access and security. So anything in our data platform, we made a standard to, it has to come through Unity so that we can better govern uh, the, the overall flow and the framework, followed by automation. To avoid doing all this manually, we have partnered with Insight to build an automation using Python and GitHub. And using this automation, we have migrated over 55,000 plus Delta Lake objects from Hive Metastore to Delta Lake. And this is a huge project. And without automation, we wouldn't have completed this in less than a year. Followed by unified landscape. We implemented consistent governance policies right from the start. Whether it can be unstructured data set, we used volumes. For structured data sets which are in DBFS, we migrated everything to the Delta Lake as an external tables. And finally, we landed at our destination, a unified data platform, uh, which is a more stronger and governed data platform. The outcome of Unity Catalog, we achieved a record productivity, and 35% of our engineering hours were saved with the help of Unity Catalog, because we have now scalable data governance and also we have enhanced observability. With scalable data governance, our engineers are spending less time in data discovery and more time in deriving the insights with the data that we have. And we have organized everything into one data estate, which means no more fragmented Hive Metastore workspaces. Data is all in one place, governed by Unity, and there is a single entry point. And followed by no more manual efforts to scale the security and the access. We have automated it all, and Unity takes care of security and access. Enhanced observability. Prior to Unity, we were going through all the diagnostic logging on the lake to go through to answer some of the audits. Thanks to Unity, now we have system tables where we can use system tables to derive insights and to answer any of the audits easily and quickly. And also, we leverage lineage uh, to, to recover fast from failures. It helped us to recover fast from any failed workloads. So this is our schedule. We started off POC late 2023, during December 2023, and then we evaluated the results and documented it. We kicked off the migration during April of 2024. And throughout 2024, we focused on automation, we focused on training our teams, we focused on phase-wise migration for our product teams. And then we finalized the migration during February of this year. And then we adopted DB-SQL as a standard for consumption across the data ecosystem. And in between, we attended Summit last year, and we attended the Unity Catalog sessions, and that also helped us uh, to, to accelerate our journey into Unity. So this is a more granular approach that we took for our migration journey. So first, it started off with check-in and ticketing. We asked our product teams to submit a GitHub issue with the details of the assets that they have, and think of it like a boarding pass with the details. And as soon as a GitHub ticket is submitted or issue is submitted, an automation will run behind the screen, behind the scene, and it will provision the compute, the Unity-enabled compute in both the regions. We provision the compute at the same time in our primary region and also in the secondary region for failover scenarios. And then followed by the next step in the automation is syncing the tables from the Hive Metastore to the Unity catalog. Again, this is all fully automated. Based on the details submitted by the product team in the GitHub ticket, the automation will take care of the syncing of the tables from the Hive to UC. And then step 4 is about access provisioning. Whether it is access for human accounts or whether it is for service principals, whether it is for structured data sets, whether it is for volumes, unstructured data sets, everything is automated for access. And for human accounts, we use AD groups, and the automation will take care of access of the AD groups, followed by disaster recovery automation. And this is a proprietary automation which we have developed within American Airlines, wherein whenever we sync an object from Hive to UC, we sync to both places, to primary region and also to secondary region. This will enable us to do a failover scenario easily in case if there are any problems with our primary region. Followed by migration to new workspace. The automation will migrate the objects, data assets, permissions, and then we will notify the product teams with the new workspace link, so the transition will be easy. Think of it like a gate change without any delays with the full information. And finally, the DB SQL, it's a unified access SQL access layer for the entire consumption, whether it can be ad hoc queries or it can be the BI reporting. These are some of the insights from our data odyssey. To start off with, the first entry is a pre-migration checklist. Careful planning is essential. always conduct a thorough pre-flight assessment, what you want to do, like some of the key decisions that you want to take with the migration, and plan ahead so that you can successfully do the migration end to end. Followed by smooth takeoff. Standardize early, whether it can be on the table formats, managed tables, sectional tables, what should be the schema naming standard. Standardize early so as to maintain uh, the accuracy and also uniformity across your data ecosystem. The third entry is the automation. We use automation as our autopilot. Automation will help with repetitive tasks, and also it will help to maintain accuracy without any human prone errors. And finally, governance as a guiding principle. Integrate governance into every single aspect, every single phase to maintain control and compliance. So we adopted DB SQL as a standard for consumption, whether it is for BI reports or for ad hoc analysis. So this slide talks about the DB SQL advantages, right? To start off with, flight path optimization, performance and consistency. By standardizing DB SQL for consumption, we made sure all the access patterns come through the single governed layer so that we can audit, we can we can track the cost, and we can track the performance. And it's a single standard access layer for any of the consumption scenarios. Followed by compliance tower. It's like routing everything through one single endpoint, that is a DB SQL layer, so that we can better track them, better monitor them, better governance. And finally, air traffic control. Think of it like a standard. We ensured everyone in the enterprise uses the DB SQL for consumption, so that we can, it's a win-win for the product teams and also for the platform. For product teams, they get a better performance. As you all know, DB SQL is a highly performant engine when compared to the previous way of all-purpose clusters and HCCL clusters, high concurrency clusters. And for the platform, we can better govern this, we can track the cost easily, and we have the better lineage, and we have the audit capabilities. So, and finally, here we are in our destination, new destination, a data-driven future. Think of it like a calm, seamless, turbulence-free flight. So after landing at our new destination, I have asked data, where did you come from? The data told me, we are in Unity catalog, go check the lineage. So now we can track the data better than the Amazon packages, because we now have a full lineage of where the data came from, where it is going. Thank you. Happy to take any questions.